the Cincinnati Bengals are making some serious moves as they gear up for Week 2 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. There are multiple updates coming out of Cincinnati, and today we're breaking down exactly what the Bengals are doing to prepare, and why fans should feel excited about what's ahead. Before we dive into the latest news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss a Bengals update. Now let's move on to the new news. The Bengals may not have looked perfect in Week 1, but they still came away with the win, and that says a lot. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't smooth, but the defense set the tone. Time after time, they stepped up when it mattered most, shutting down the Browns' opportunities and proving that this unit can carry games when needed. That victory builds momentum, and now the Bengals' focus shifts toward fixing the offense. Fans want to see the fireworks from Joe Burrow, Ja'Marr Chase, and T. Higgins, and Cincinnati knows they need to get back to basics to unleash that full potential in Week 2. Injury news for the Bengals. Offensive lineman Lucas Patrick has officially been placed on injured reserve and is expected to miss about 4 games. That's a tough blow, but Cincinnati has already moved quickly to adjust. His absence opens the door for Dalton Risner, and so far, that addition is proving to be a very smart move for this roster. Patrick still remains an important depth piece, and when he returns later in the season, his experience will give the Bengals much-needed flexibility up front. For now, the team is counting on the next man up. On the defensive side, the Bengals elevated Mike Pennell from the practice squad after his strong showing against the run, holding opponents to just around 2 yards per carry. That kind of production speaks volumes, and it shows why the coaches believe he can become a key factor in the interior. It's also worth noting how this move impacts younger players like Chris Jenkins. Instead of handing the role to a rookie, the Bengals leaned on a veteran presence, signaling that right now, experience and reliability are taking priority. Ultimately, this is about putting the best player in position to help the team win, and the Bengals are making sure every decision serves that goal. The Bengals are in win-now mode, and they know it. Every season should be about chasing victory, but with the talent Cincinnati has on both sides of the ball, there's no doubt this team is built to compete immediately. That's why the coaching staff keeps leaning on experienced veterans in key spots. It's not about experimenting anymore, it's about putting the most reliable players on the field to give this team the best chance to win. What makes this interesting is that the Bengals haven't been shy about giving opportunities to younger players in the past. But this time, they chose to trust the veteran presence, a sign that the margin for error in 2025 is razor-thin. Depth and experience matter more than ever for a team trying to stay at the top of the AFC. Another notable move was the addition of Isaiah Foskey, a former second-round pick by the New Orleans Saints. While his stats don't jump off the page, the Bengals see potential. Foskey has already appeared in 27 NFL games, and now he'll have the chance to develop under a new system in Cincinnati. This isn't just about filling a roster spot, it's about finding a player who could grow into a meaningful role, especially if injuries hit later in the season. The defensive front already showed flashes in Week 1. With stars like Trey Hendrickson bringing constant pressure, and players like B.J. Hill setting the tone inside, Cincinnati proved it can disrupt opposing quarterbacks. Adding Foskey into that mix gives them another weapon, and maybe, in the right environment, he takes his game to the next level. The Bengals' locker room is one of their greatest strengths. Veterans like Hendrickson, Hill, and Sam Hubbard set the standard with leadership and work ethic. If Foskey soaks in that culture, learns from the best, and adapts to the Bengals system, he could become a valuable depth piece, not just now, but down the stretch when every snap matters. For a team chasing a championship window, every roster move counts, and Cincinnati is making sure no weakness is left exposed. One name Bengals fans should definitely keep an eye on is Mike Pennell. He may not be the flashiest player on the roster, but his impact in the run game is hard to ignore. Pennell has already shown he can be a steady force inside, and if he continues to help hold opponents to minimal yardage, that's exactly the kind of contribution this defense needs. In a league where every yard matters, sometimes it's the unsung veterans who make the biggest difference. Of course, Cincinnati still wants to develop its younger talent, especially those on rookie contracts. That's the long-term strategy, getting young players valuable reps so they can grow into future starters. But the reality is simple, this is the regular season, every game counts, and the Bengals don't have time to wait around. If a veteran like Pennell gives them the best chance to win now, then that's the move you make. On the offensive side, the conversation turns to Dalton Risner. Signed late in the offseason, Risner has already proven to be one of the Bengals' smartest additions. Practically thrown into a starting role, he showed why so many were surprised he stayed on the free agent market as long as he did. Risner's physicality, awareness, and reliability at right guard give Joe Burrow the kind of protection he needs to get the offense rolling. Looking back, it almost feels like luck that Risner was still available when Cincinnati finally pulled the trigger. Now, that signing looks like one of the most valuable moves of the entire offseason, and it couldn't have come at a better time. In Week 1, Risner didn't just fill a spot, he stabilized the offensive line. And for a Bengals team with championship aspirations, that stability is priceless. One of the biggest storylines from Week 1 was how much pressure Joe Burrow faced against the Browns' defense. In the second half, it felt like Cleveland's pass rush turned things up a notch. Burrow was sacked 3 times in a single series, and the offense suddenly looked completely out of rhythm. The first half showed flashes of control, but after halftime, the pocket collapsed too often, and the Bengals struggled to adjust. Amid the chaos, though, one bright spot emerged: Dalton Risner. Despite being thrown into the fire as a late signing, Risner graded out as one of the Bengals' best offensive linemen. Pro Football Focus gave him an 80.5 overall grade, which is remarkable for someone still building chemistry with his new teammates. To put that in perspective, it's rare to see Bengals offensive linemen hit that kind of number in recent years. What stood out was how quickly Risner adapted. Even without weeks of practice alongside the unit, he showed poise, kept his assignments clean, and earned praise from Joe Burrow himself. Burrow noted how Risner handled the pressure like a true veteran, steady, calm, and reliable. In a game where the offensive line had rough stretches, Risner looked like the glue holding things together. Yes, he gave up one pressure during that ugly 3-sack drive, but his consistency overall tells the bigger story. In fact, Risner has never graded below a 65 in his entire career, which shows just how steady he's been year after year. And the Bengals didn't have to give up draft capital or hand out a massive contract to land him. They secured him out of free agency for around $5 million. For Cincinnati, that's a steal. If Risner plays this well now, imagine what happens when he fully settles in, gets more reps, and locks in timing with the rest of the line. He has the potential to transform one of the Bengals' most criticized units into a true strength. Let's put Dalton Risner's impact into perspective. Across his last 900 pass-blocking snaps, he has allowed just 1 sack. 1. That's over 2 full seasons of steady, reliable protection. For a Bengals team that has spent years trying to solidify its offensive line, that kind of consistency is exactly what they've been searching for. And to think, Cincinnati was able to land him in free agency without giving up draft picks or paying a massive contract. That's a steal. Right guard was the Bengals' biggest question mark heading into the year. Fans and analysts alike were asking, will this spot hold up? With Risner stepping in, those concerns already feel lighter. His track record shows durability and discipline, and if he continues this level of play, he could transform one of the team's former weaknesses into a real strength. Now the focus turns to Week 2 against Jacksonville. Make no mistake, this is not going to be an easy matchup. The Jaguars bring speed and physicality, and Cincinnati knows they'll need to be sharper than they were against Cleveland. The good news? This game is at Paycor Stadium, with the jungle behind them, and the Bengals are carrying momentum after gutting out a rivalry win in Week 1. It won't be a walkover, but if the defense keeps bringing pressure and the offensive line holds firm with Risner anchoring the interior, the Bengals have every reason to believe they can walk away 2-0. This is a team built to win now, and Week 2 is the perfect chance to prove it. With a few days still left before Sunday, expect more updates on injuries, roster adjustments, and game prep. The good news so far is that most of the roster came out of Week 1 healthy, which is huge. Safety Geno Stone gave fans a scare when he briefly left with an injury, but he managed to return and finish the game, a positive sign moving forward. As we get closer to kickoff, the Bengals' key storylines remain the additions of Dalton Risner and Isaiah Foskey. Risner looks like one of the best under-the-radar signings of the entire offseason, while Foskey could turn into a sneaky depth move that pays dividends late in the year. Both represent exactly the kind of smart decisions you want to see from a team in win-now mode. Now it's your turn. What do you think of these updates? Do you believe Risner will lock down the right guard spot for good? Could Foskey become an unexpected factor in the defensive rotation? And how confident are you heading into Week 2 against Jacksonville? Drop your predictions and thoughts in the comments. The Bengals community always brings great insight, and we'd love to hear from you. That's all for now, but stay tuned. More Bengals updates are on the way as we get closer to game day. The jungle is ready, the team is hungry, and Sunday can't come soon enough.